Hey, Charles here with Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Today we're going to show you how to install a Tusk UTV folding glass windshield on your Yamaha RMAX, whether it's the 2-seater or the 4-seater. It's going to be the same process. Now this is something that is easy to do, so let's go ahead and get started. To start out, we're going to attach the 57-inch piece of bulb seal across the bottom of the window. So with this, you want the seal itself to be facing the inside, and you can see we have this facing up on a soft surface. So if you don't have a rubber mat like us, you can use a soft blanket to set your window on. And this is just going to press on. If you find any points that don't fit very tight, you can pull that back up and then pinch this and then press it back on for a tighter fit. And if you're having troubles getting it to go all the way on, you can use your soft-faced mallet and tap it into place. If you do have any excess bulb seal left over at the end, you can use some side cutters to trim that off. The next step is to install your foam strips. Now I want to point out, we've already had this window installed on our machine at one point, so we have the foam strips on it already, but I just want to go over the process of what you need to do. So on the vents, we flip these up, and you're going to take the 16-inch piece of thin foam strip, and you're going to go all the way around the edge. You'll do that on both doors. Now on the back side, you're going to apply some foam tape here as well. That's going to help prevent vibration and give you a better seal as well. So with this, we're going to start with the 4-inch strips of foam tape, and we're going to be on this lower hinged section of the frame. So we're going right next to that corner on each side. And then on the main window panel, we're starting in this bottom corner, and we're taking the 17-inch pieces of D-shaped foam trim. We're going all the way up to the top. Now you should have about 1.5 inch gap from the very top of this frame. Make sure you get that done on both sides. After that, you're going to take the 48-inch piece of foam tape. You're going to start at the top of that D-shaped foam, and then we're going up and across the top edge, all the way over to the other side and back down to the other D-shaped foam trim. And last, we have the 3-inch pieces of foam tape. Those are going to go towards the bottom of the window panel next to that D-shaped foam. And just make sure you get those underneath this hinged section of the frame. Next, we'll move on to the vent door brackets. We're going to start with vent bracket A. Now these are side specific, so you're going to want to have this bend facing towards the outside of the window. We're using 2 M6 by 16 millimeter button head bolts and nylock nuts to loosely install that. Then we've got vent bracket B. Again, the bend is going to be facing towards the outside of the window. And we're using the same sizes of hardware for that. Next, we have vent bracket C, and the hook towards the top is going to be facing out. We're taking that bolt through bracket B, then C. We've got the nylock nut on the inside. After that, you have the hand knob, go through bracket C. You've got the friction washer. It's going to go on the other side in between bracket C and bracket A. Going to screw that in. Then from here, I'm going to tighten down all of the hardware in a couple steps. So with this, the whole goal is to get everything lined up so the vent door opens and closes smoothly. And with the pivot, you want to go until this is barely tight and then back the nut off about 1/4 of a turn. That's going to allow it to pivot freely. And then we'll do the same steps on the other side. Next, we're going to install the windshield wiper. Now we have this plug on the driver's side we need to remove. Now you'll notice there's a second plug. If you want to buy an additional wiper, you can do that as well. Then we're going to flip the windshield over. Now we're going to take the hand knob. We're going to remove the smaller nut from the end. Then you've got the mount. You're going to remove a nut, washer, and grommet from this. And we're going to take the mount and install it through that mounting location and reinstall the grommet, washer, and nut. And you're going to use a 19 millimeter combo wrench and a crescent wrench to tighten that down. Next, you want to prep the wiper. So I'm going to squeeze in on the tabs for this plastic cover. Take the wiper arm, stick it through there, hook it in place, make sure you pull it all the way down just like that, and reinstall that cover. Wiper arm is prepped. So now we can take our handle, go straight up through the mount. Then you can see the splines on here. You're going to line those up with the splines in the wiper arm. And when I install this, I like to have the handle itself lined up with the wiper arm. Then you can reinstall that smaller nut. Use your 10mm combo wrench to tighten it down. Next we have the filler panel. We've got this so the bend at the top is facing down, and on each side you're going to install a 4-inch foam strip. If you have any extra, you can just trim that off. Now we can install the bulb seal all the way across the top. We're going to start where that foam tape ends right here. Then I'm just going to trim that little bit of extra seal off. Next, we're going to attach our mounting brackets to the filler panel. So we've got the filler panel on the bench. The top of it, the bend is facing down. We've got our M8 hardware. We're going through the front of the filler panel, and then through the bracket. And these brackets are side specific. So we've got this hook that's going to be facing towards the top, and we've got the nylock nuts on the back side. Then we'll attach our other bracket. Next, we need to prep our machine. So we've got 3 clamps in the roof in the front section of it. We're going to remove those with a 10mm socket. Now just underneath the roof, we've got these gussets on each side of the roll cage, and these 2 middle holes, we're going to use a 1/4-inch drill bit to drill those out a little bit bigger. We'll do that same thing on the other side. Now you can take your filler panel over to the machine. You want to start in front of the roll cage. This trim seal right here, it's going to sit underneath the roof. So I'm going to slide that up into place. Now you're just going to line up your brackets, and you're going to take your M6 by 45mm bolts. With the washer, you're coming through the outside, through that gusset, and you've got the acorn nut on the inside. Next, we're going to remove the A-pillar bolts from each side, and we're not reusing the bolts, but we are going to be reusing the nuts. Sometimes these bolts will have a little bit of tension on them, so you can use an alignment punch to help release that tension. The next step is to set the windshield in place, but there's a couple things you want to know before we do that. So you've got a couple spacers that come in your kit. Spacer A is the one that everyone is going to use, and that's going to take up the space in that recessed area. Now spacer B is what you're going to use if you do not have mirrors, but we're going to be running the mirrors. So these have a spacer on them, and we're just going to make sure that this and spacer A is in between the frame of the windshield and the A-pillar. Now I'm going to have a friend help me set the windshield in place, and we've got the 2 hand knobs in each corner. We're going to start out by threading those in just to make sure that everything is securely attached. Then we're just going to be using the M12 bolts. We're going to go all the way through all of this. We're going to reuse the nuts that we previously took off. Now I'm going to put the middle hand knob in as well, just to make sure everything's lined up. Now I'm going to use a 19mm socket and 17mm combo wrench to tighten down the A-pillar hardware. You do have a little bit of adjustment with this, so just adjust it to where you have the best fit with the windshield. Next, you want to line up the filler panel so the hand knobs are in the center of their adjustment. And then we're going to tighten down the hardware on the filler panel, both at this front mount and the sides. And then we're going to verify that these hand knobs thread in and out easily. We're just using a 5mm Allen and 13mm socket, as well as a 4mm Allen and 10mm combo wrench. After that, we can reinstall the clamps into the roof. After that, we're going to remove our hand knobs. And then as I fold this down, I'm just using some blue tape to hold the windshield off of the hood. Then I'm going to install the standoff brackets. So these are side specific. This section should be fairly level and face in towards the center with the Tusk logo in the correct orientation. I'm going to use the hand knob from the inside of the windshield to screw that in place. And you just want to center this on that adjustment in the top. And then I've already put some blue tape down on top of our hood, and that way I can mark where we want this bracket. Then we're going to drill through both of these holes with our 5/16 inch drill bit. I'm going to remove that tape, and then I'm going to use the M8 button head bolts. Then we've got these fender washers, they're going on the inside, and then we'll follow that up with the nylock nuts. Then we're going to tighten these down with our 5mm Allen and 13mm combo wrench. And then we'll do those same steps on the other side. After that, you just want to verify that everything lines up for the hand knobs and that they screw in easily. And that's it for installing the Tusk UTV folding glass windshield on your Yamaha RMAX. If you have any questions, leave those down in the comments. And if you need to pick one of these up, just click the link in the description below. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more helpful content. I'm Charles with Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Thanks for watching.